Okay, I posted a short on how nasty this water separator bowl looked. It still does inside, and I don't even see any fuel in it. This has been sitting here about a month with new fuel in it. That's at worst 2 months old, and the fuel and transfer tank had tank cleaner put in it along with a diesel additive for the summer, and this has been filled up and hasn't been running a month. The fuel inside the tank looks fine, and I had drained the water separator the last time I used it and only ran an hour or two, and it didn't leave any water in it that particular day. But we've had 5 days. Today is normal warm for, it's the 4th of July actually, but the 5 days before in Northeast Illinois we were in the low 90s, and it felt like 100 to 110 depending on the day, and very extremely humid. The debris that was on the bowl, and it had rained so it was wet, when I gripped this, I tried to wipe it off by hand and it didn't seem to do anything in the short, but as I gripped it and I've loosened this most of the way, when I pull this out I want to see what kind of fuel comes out of it, and we will hit this pump to purge the air without the bowl on, and we'll see if nice clean red fuel comes out that looks like it's in the tank. If nothing comes out, there's possibly something in the bottom of my tank where the fuel line screen is, and if that's the case, we're going to take this line off and blow air from an air compressor down there to blast that screen off down there, because they do put that at the very bottom of the tank, unfortunately. Some people run without them, but you're not supposed to, just in case this stuff happens, because you do not want this inside your injectors if anything gets by this separator, and the fuel filter is actually on the other side of the loader mount. So we're gonna pull this off of here right now and see if anything comes out of the separator filter. We got I don't drain it out the drain John Deere gives you at the bottom of these. This is the bowl, and the same thing with the bottom of the filter. I don't use it. I unplug the, okay, that's nice and red, and it doesn't hurt that sensor. The sensor wire at the plug, or actually up here at the bowl, breaks all the time, and these things are now, the sensor's fine, but your pigtail breaks right where you can see the wires. Bad design. That stays good, but you can't splice back to it. So that actually looked pretty good, don't you think? Hey, fireworks. And the bowl, there's some gunk inside there. Let's see what happens here. See what happens if I pump this. I usually start the tractor up before. Let's turn the bleeder valve. I feel I might have to, sometimes when you don't run it, when you do this, it's a little trick. Run your tractor first, especially if your tank's lower. Well, that's way too far open. Especially if your tank's really low, run it first, so you're pulling fuel up to the system. Got air, there we go. Ooh, there was some water at first. When I do purges, when I get the bowl back on, I usually send it over, and this is interesting. It's water. Got a little red. Should be red off-road fuel come out of here. Obviously red. Let's keep doing this and see what happens. Sometimes this takes a long time. Well, if it doesn't come here shortly, I'm going to put you on pause, and I'm going to go shoot that line, pull this line off. And if you ever pull it off, don't let your hose clamp slide underneath the cab when you slid the, because when you do it, more fireworks. Okay, it's not going to come. I'm going to have to. That filter might be clogged down there, and I do have another one, but geez, I don't want to change that on a full tank. That's I can't even see. Huh. That's not what I wanted to see there. Actually, when I shoot it, it should, and put it back on, it ought to come flying out the bottom of the filter. So I'm going to put you on pause here, and I'm going to go clean out the fuel bowl, put it back on, and plug it back into the sensor. And I don't know if I'm going to shoot that hose in the video or not, but because my hands are I'm going to be in the way of the camera, you might not see it well. So I will be back. Be recording. So one quick thing, if you can see inside the fuel bowl and the sensor, you actually got to put a deep well socket on there to pull this rubber part off the bowl. And I just don't like these drains. Plus I got to take it apart to clean it anyway. Blow the sensor off really well. Maybe get a little bit of diesel on it too, because it can throw a code sometimes if it gets some water stuck to it. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, one more helpful hint. If you forget that your water sensor is bolted on, I don't know if you can see those, there's 3 grooves down there, which line up on the 3 grooves here that slide on. And there they line up in there, and your bolt holds everything down. Well, one day when things froze up, if you have water in here, this sits outside all the time. This is your weak link no matter how well you've treated your fuel. If it's very windy, anything in the bowl freezes. And I went to take this apart to get the ice out of the bowl, or at least get it inside, and I snapped it all off. And believe it or not, you set this back in there and line it up with the top the best you can. When you put it together, and there is a rubber seal that goes around this that I did. It's right there is the seal. As long as you had it lined up, I don't. That's as clean as the outside of the bowl gets anymore. It's kind of this is actually a replacement bowl, because it comes as a setup without the very expensive water sensor, which I'm on. That's number 3, I think. I've got one in a bag here in the toolbox, but I'm not going to pull it off to show you how it breaks off. But the bolt will hold itself together. And honestly, I didn't need to buy a new setup. And then I thought I'd be smart one year, and I melted it a little bit with a heat gun. It was not on very high melt, so that's not gunk, that's melted. Anyways, that's just a quick fix. If you happen to snap this all off, you can put it all back in there, and the bolt will hold it together perfectly. So well, I'm going to get the air compressor out here. I'm not going to film it, but I'm going to blow this out after I put this back together and put it back on the bottom of the separator filter. I'm going to see if when I put it back on there, red fuel comes out, because I don't mind it coming out the bottom. That is, man, I wonder if I should just, I think I'm going to change that. Nothing came out of it. That is very weird. I'm guessing, I hope not, because I got 3/4 of a tank. To drain the tank, it's almost better to pump it out. And I don't have a pump for that, but I can get one. Not today, though. It's kind of a booger to drain that out, so I'm going to try and do a quick fix. I hope I should fish something down at the bottom of the tank. That stuff appeared to float a little bit in the bowl, and you would think you'd see it. It was a white milky substance, and you saw a lot of water come out of that bleeder valve. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that too. So I'll be back in a little while. Okay, so after I shot the line with some air pressure and pressurized the fuel system again. You can see in the bucket, it came out nice and red out of the hose. I shot, and some got shot in there because usually I do it and just shove it right back on. There's a flange right here too. It goes on easy. If you ever, like I said, if you have one sit, mine just wasn't pressurized since I hadn't run it in a long time. And I learned that the hard way. If you ever do drain this, and after it's sat a long time, and you have not started it back up first, you're going to have to repressurize your line, because pumping that for days is never ever going to work. We had to do that when we drained the tank too. What I have to do next, so I put the line back on, and there's only the pressure of the air I pumped in blowing back, so I didn't have to tighten that up, and it came right out of the fuel separator filter, all nice and red, just like you see. I don't see anything. It's a bucket I use for everything, so in the bottom, that black stuff is just scratches and dirt from it's had gravel in it and everything over the years, so that's not dirt that came out at the bottom. I never really wipe these things out when I drain them out into my junk pails that go to the oil recycler. So I think I'm okay, even though, like, this tractor, yeah, it's a 2014, and it's July 4th, 2026. It barely has 1,700 hours on it. These probably only have 200 hours on them anyway, out of the 300, 200. Well, no. If you do 500, yeah, 1,700. They don't have very much. If I change, yeah, they only got about 200 hours on out of a 500-hour oil change. I know it's been a few years, but I don't worry about it too much. I have never had a problem by not running something and worrying about fluid, or the type of fluid, that's the age of the fluid versus how much it's been run. I've never had a problem, but everybody else's mileage varies. But like I was saying, there is a flange on there. It goes on easy. If you take this off, especially the first time it wants to stick, just wiggle it back and forth. Get a hold of it. I may have lightly grabbed it the first time with a pair of channel locks. It's at least it's an eighth of an inch, if not a wall on there at least. It's probably a little bit more. It's probably not quite a quarter inch, but it's a hefty, for a small diameter hose. So it once you get it going, it'll pop off. There's a pretty heavy flange. You almost have to undo this to the point it falls off. And you can hold that with your right hand and use a finger to keep it above. Use however you hold it. Keep your finger holding that up, so when you move real fast and you get some slack, it doesn't slide under the cab after you shove that on under pressure. So you won't. I had a decent amount of fuel because I wanted to look at it come out. It's probably all wet it's wet all around the back of the bucket where you can't see, but that's fine for where I drain this here all the time and catch what I can. So I have to now go over here and loosen up. It's just right down there. You just can't see it with this loader bracket. The fuel filter, I don't purge this one. I open the same purge valve on top of the fuel filter, and I will now purge out all the air all over to that, and so that takes a little while. Some fuel comes out, and then it's a long time of pushing this little manual pump to get all the air out, and then the fuel will start spraying out too. So you catch what you can of that. I'll move the bucket over, but like right now I've got a mess of fuel here. I've gotten most of it off, and I'll have some over there, but it won't be as bad as what came out the fuel line. So give me a few more minutes, and I'll be back, and we'll start this thing up, and hopefully we're all good. All right, well, I meant to put the camera on before I turned the key, but I forgot, of course. So it takes it a few seconds longer to start up than normal, and it started right up. It's running a little over, around 950. They don't like to low idle these interim gear engines. So everything looks good. I got a quick, before it was supposed to cloud up and rain here. I'm not sure what time it is right now. It's at least noon. The sun's right over my head. No clouds, so not raining anytime soon. So I think we're okay. I'll get the filters probably before winter time if I don't have another problem like this. But in let's see, almost 14 years, I've never seen anything other than water in there. I've probably maybe have seen it slightly milky before, but not like, more like pink. But in the wintertime that can change with the winter fuel. It may not be as red. Sometimes it's almost pink in the winter. Just depends with what dye the refinery is using. It can change color a little bit, but in the summer it's usually nice and dark like it is. We'll see. Maybe I'll run this around. I may have an hour's worth of work, half an hour. What I fix if it storms again this weekend, it's going to wreck it anyways. So we'll see if I have any water at the bottom of this, which wouldn't be abnormal, but not usually in a plus or minus 1 hour of running. So if you have any ideas on what that milky, clumpy stuff was, and it was actually, if you look at the short I did, that this is linked to, it was all over the outside. Like it seeped out. There's a seal. The seal actually goes in a slot on this ring, and when you tighten up the bolt inside on the water sensor, it pulls it up and seals it. So when you take this thing apart, it actually pushes it into the groove I showed earlier on the ball. So when you pull this off, your rubber gasket will be down on the lip of the separator ball. Alright, well I hope a couple of things I've learned over the years helped you guys, and I hope I solved my problem for at least the day. And we'll go from there. Have a great tour!